Hello everybody and welcome back to Conor here, or Leeds TV. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. Just before I start the video, just before I start the review, we've got a really excellent sort of like brand deal that we've managed to sort this week with a great company called Tips. More of that is going to follow in our Sheffield Wednesday previews, but a really exciting venture, and it just shows that, hard work does pay off, and we're absolutely delighted by the opportunity with Tips. Really great company, so more of that is going to come in the Sheffield Wednesday preview, so stay tuned for that. But this is what you are all here for. It is your Preston review. Now, I'm going to go on something a little bit of a different tangent to what everybody else done. If you've not seen it already, everybody else has done a review of the game. Tasha in particular has done quite a funny version. Very knowledgeable Tash. Anytime you speak to her about football, she knows a hell of a lot about Leeds. She gets it, and she goes home and away. So, you've got to give her kudos for that, and she puts a really good point across. It was quite funny because I think she'd had a little bit of sauce, which made it a little bit better. But listen, that's what happens on away days, isn't it? If you're into having a few drinks out there, I know I certainly like a few drinks with the football, as long as it's within limitations, as long as you know what you're doing, which we all do, hopefully. That's fantastic, and it's always great to see a new person on the channel. So if you haven't checked Tasha out, make sure you go over there, slap a like, and obviously the other two lads, Oscar and Joe. But anyway, enough waffle by me. Let's get into what I think. So as I was saying, I'm going to go on a little bit of a different tangent. I want to speak about, obviously I'm going to touch on the game a little bit, but a few problems that we have, in my opinion, with the squad. And on Twitter last night, once again, putting my opinion out there, do it to stoke a we Let's see if we can get a little bit of a debate going. That's what we love as Leeds United fans. But let's straight away talk about the Bamford and Nketiah debate. Okay, so Patrick Bamford I think he is an excellent advocate for Leeds United Football Club. He holds himself in very good regard, speaks excellently about the recruitment, the management, the staff, the team, the manager, the players, everything. He's a good footballer on the pitch, puts his work in for Leeds United, runs his socks off, an excellent player at this level. Now, no stipulations with Patrick Bamford. If you're looking at all of my recent videos, yes, I do believe there should be a man in for Patrick Bamford, but I love Bamford as a footballer. I think he's an excellent acquisition for Leeds United, and I'm happy for him to be part of this squad. Now, that's the balance of the argument. Now, the other half of it is Patrick Bamford is he's paid to play for Leeds United. You lot are paid to go to work. That is the remit of life. We are paid to do a job. That's what we all do. So listen, what do you have to do when you're at work? You have to deliver. That's what you do. That's what you are paid to do. Patrick Bamford, 35 grand a week, which is the rumoured fee, the wage per week, is expectant to score. Or at least if he doesn't score in a game, score every second or third game. Now, he's not doing that as of yet. He is not doing that. The form guide isn't favourable for Patrick Bamford. Patrick Bamford has to be taken out of the firing line now because it's doing him more damage than good. It really is. And I feel for the guy. I really do. But we are Leeds United supporters. I want to see Leeds United win. I want to see Leeds United in the Premier League. We are not a charity case. We do not advocate playing players when they are out of form because we feel bad for them. You need to be ruthless. And I always say that on this channel. You need to be ruthless. And when I say charity case, I apply that to the players. It's not a generalised term. His efficiency in front of goal is damaging the whole team. Because we're not having contributions of goals from anywhere else, really. I mean, Alioski's obviously got a couple. Harrison's doing okay. But we're not having anything else. It is, and that is why a lot of the focus is on Patrick Bamford. So he needs to score. He needs to be scoring. But the issue is, it's not like we're not getting near him. It's not like the team isn't based around Bamford, because I think it is. I think the team is based around Bamford. We facilitate the chances for him to put them away. And that is his job. The team are doing their jobs. Apart from a few, in my opinion. But the majority of the team are doing excellently well. Why? Because we're defending resolutely. We're not letting that many goals in. We're creating chances. We're dominating. So they're doing their jobs. Their remit is complete. We are doing it. But it is falling up front. Last season, it falled up front. It has to be rectified before we suffer. Because we will suffer. Unfortunately. Because that is how ruthless football is. We could lose the next 2 games. West Brom could pick up 6 points. Sheffield Wednesday, touch wood, and I don't think this will happen, but pick up 6 points. There's a gap then. And then that gap increases. And then we create chances, but we miss them. And you think to yourself, oh, well, it'll happen in the next game. It'll happen in the next game. And the reason I'm speaking like this is because this has happened since last year, guys. We've lost Kim Aroof, who was our starting striker. Our secondary striker really has come in now in Patrick Bamford, in my personal opinion. I think Roof was of better quality than Bamford in the finishing department, which was reflected by his goals. I know the injury inhibited both players, but Roof was a better finisher. So now we've got a better finisher than Roof on the bench, and he doesn't play. Now, Patrick Bamford hasn't scored in 8 games. It's irresponsible of Bielsa to continue playing Patrick Bamford. It is stubborn and it is irresponsible. And that is where you've got to critique the manager if he puts him in the firing line for Sheffield Wednesday. I feel sorry for Bamford. I really do, because he's suffering at this moment in time with regards to the feedback he's getting, maybe someone's savoury chance every now and again, but he needs to be taken out. And maybe he wants to be taken out. As ridiculous as that sounds, maybe he needs to find his confidence again. Maybe he needs to see that another striker can either show him the way or can miss opportunities as well, so he feels a little bit more normalised. Because at this minute, he is a little bit of a scapegoat. But it's with good reason, because he's our goal scorer and he scored 4 goals this season in 13 games. And he's getting chances. He's getting chances. This is all brewed from Reading away last year, where he had 4 excellent chances, spewed them all, and the Reading fans were taking the mick out of him, and they were 3-0 down. Give it to Bamford chance ran out. The guy, I've spoken to a Derby fan, as I've said on my last video, I've spoken to a Chelsea fan. This footballer is based on confidence. You get the cocky, arrogant footballers who aren't based on confidence, who are just ruthless finishers. Tammy Abraham to be one. He went through a little bit of a rough patch for Villa. I've got a few Villa mates who were saying, we're not happy with him, all this sort of stuff, start Codger, but they didn't. And Abraham just had this cocky thing about him where he would score in the next game to prove them all wrong, prove the doubters wrong. We do not have that with Bamford. It will be a barren spell, and then we might get a goal. But how long do we wait now? Do we wait for another 7 games? Do we wait for another 6 games? Do we wait for another 8 games? See if he gets a couple in those games? Or do we put in a proficient, efficient damager of opposition assassin in Eddie Nketiah? Eddie Nketiah won a header yesterday to score a goal, and he leapt above Patrick Bauer, 6'4", Patrick Bauer, and Davis, 6'3", to win a wonderful header, which he hung in the air and knocked back across goal, where it was unattainable for anybody to clear the ball. This guy who is talking about, people are talking about physicality, him not pressing, it's rubbish. It is rubbish. He presses high. He's effective in that press. When he came on, he was pushing Preston all the way back. And a lot of people are ignoring the fact that this happened. Eddie came on and scored. Okay, fine. But look, if you watch the highlights back, look how highly he is pressing and he is defending from the front. That was better than Bamford's entire period on the pitch. Bamford gives it his all. He really does. But he's just not as good. And it is as simple as that. You've got someone who plays for Arsenal and is valued in the 10-15 million bracket, who Arsenal fans do not want to let go. Arsenal fans see as the successor to Lacazette and Aubameyang, along with Saka and Willock as that youth product or youth products. And then we've got Bamford. So it's This guy is at high esteem. This is a guy who's scoring for England. This is a guy who's playing in under-21 European competitions. This is a guy who has applied his trade at the top level of youth football and has come down to the Championship, and he's doing the exact same again. His goal-to-minute ratio is the best in the league. And he's played 222 minutes of football in the Championship in comparison to Patrick Bamford, who currently stands at 922 minutes. Nearly 4.5 times as much as Nketiah. And Nketiah's scored more goals. He scored 5 in all competitions. Bamford scored 4. Come on. And this is, Bielsa, you will not be watching this. I'd be upset if you were watching this. You are a professor and a genius, and you have brought calibre and prestige back to this club. But please wake up with this. I don't know more than the second man. I'm just a man with an opinion, but this is it's gonna start affecting us. A lot of people were tweeting out last night, we do not look as good as last year. We are as good as last year, but the problem is the same issues are there. We cannot finish. As soon as Eddie came on, Harrison, for some reason, grew. His balls in became better. His movement off the ball was better. He was getting in and around the penalty box. He was close in on Nketiah. I don't understand where that came from. He was, and then he put the ball in, the assist for the goal. Roberts came on and was playing in this role next to Nketiah where they were just linking up 2 or 3 times, which is what we saw with Costa and Nketiah in those first couple of games when they came off the bench. Roberts and Nketiah had a brilliant link-up. Excellent, small, quick, nimble. And imagine if we had a scenario going forward where we had Roberts in the 10, Eddie, and then Costa out wide. A lot of people are slating on Costa. Costa was the one who started Bamford's the chance where he blazed it wide, where he took about 3 men on. Lovely link-up play with Dallas and Click on this side, and it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Costa. Another chance in the first half, which led to Bamford, was Costa starting as well. 2 of the 3 chances were because of Costa starting the attack. So people need to broaden their minds a little bit when they're talking about Costa being naff, Costa this, that and the other. Costa's only played 4 games so far as well. And I think he's done well in 2 of them. He's still finding his feet. We do not play the Helder Costa way. You look at how Barry Douglas has been sort of sectioned out of this squad. It's because we don't play that way that Wolves did. We do not play that way. We play in front of the defence. We play passing football. Wolves were sort of Liverpool-esque. They were frighteningly quick, ball over the top, Hotter, Bonatini, Costa all running onto it. It was a completely different system, and you've got to give them time to get used to it as well. At the end of the day, I think they're building into it. Costa is building into it. I do. Good performance against West Brom. I thought he was unfairly treated against Charlton. But, if you are to go on assists, I guess, then, yeah, Costa is underperforming because Harrison's got 3 assists. But I just think with Costa, when he is in the positions, he's massively efficient. His balls in are always dangerous. I mean, he played 2 or 3 fantastic balls in last night. Really dangerous balls. And another chance as well, the Roberts penalty in the last minute. That was all made by Costa. Costa drilled the ball in with his right foot after beating a man. Roberts went down. That was Costa again. So for people who are talking about, him being rubbish last night and this, that and the other, he created 3 very good chances last night, which is backed up by Opta stats online if you want to go check that out. But my whole point is, with Harrison, now this is an interesting debate with Harrison, because Harrison's got 3 assists. And do you know what? There's been an increased level in his performances. When Harrison gets the ball and he drills the ball in on the ground, excellent. Excellent. His touch is to die for. It's Premier League level. Those drilled balls in that he always does sort of on the edge of the area are brilliant. But the balls into the 6-yard box, that bit where Patrick Bamford is normally waiting, are abysmal. They never beat the first man. Patrick Bauer for them got man of the match last night. I read a Preston match report saying every ball that Leeds put in the box he cleared away. And the reasoning behind that was because he was on the right side of the defensive pairing, and every ball that came in from Harrison was just cleared out by him straight away. I can't imagine what his clearance rate would have been. It'd have been through the roof. There was 6 consecutive crosses from Harrison that didn't beat the first man. And when I'm talking about efficiency, when I'm talking about potentially Tyler Roberts on that left, the reason I say that, it's not because I'm doubting on Jack Harrison's ability or doubting on his assist rate. It's because if Tyler Roberts has 6 potential crosses into that box, I believe 4 of them are getting delivered into the 6-yard box with pace. That's what I believe, or onto the penalty spot with pace, which is going to give the likes of Patrick Bamford, Eddie Nketiah more of a chance. Although Harrison did put the ball in for Nketiah's winner. I did think that was more about Nketiah's positioning. He peeled off the defender. It was a very deep cross, more of a hit and hope. But I can't take that away from Harrison. It's an assist. But you look at how much Eddie had to do for that. I mean, it really was a semi-assist because everything, the assist, the goal, everything should have just been attributed to Eddie for that. Because how he worked that, the neck muscles, the leverage he got from the defender, the height was incredible. But I'm struggling. It's just the efficiency of balls in, because the amount of times we have the ball down the left and put balls in must be in the 20 to 30 mark during a game. And if Harrison's just going to get one assist out of 20 to 30, I think the efficiency of this crossing is poor. I think you have Roberts there, which we saw against Derby. We've seen it against Villa in the past as well. His balls in are brilliant. We saw it against Millwall when he darted down the wing when we got that third goal, pinged it in with his left foot, his weak foot, fired it across goal, and there was the finish just there. I can't remember who put it in. But, that was last season. He's excellent down the wing. When he started at West Brom, he was a winger. So I would love to see that. I would love to see that freshened up a bit. Roberts has to come in. He has to come in. He's nimble. He's quick on the ball. We weren't as creative last night. But for me, that has to be the change. Roberts in the 10 or Roberts in place of Harrison for me. I guess you've got a point with Harrison when you say, he's got 3 assists, I guess. Okay. I just don't like the efficiency of his play. He doesn't do it enough for me. With the amount of chances we've created in the past 3 games, what is it, in the 60 zone, and he's got 3 assists, that's not really good enough for me. And I'd love to see, if we give someone else a chance, people who have different opinions and say, well, that wouldn't work. I've had it all the time with Eddie. Someone actually put Bamford's a better player than Eddie on my Twitter, and I just replied and battered the response with stats. That's all you need to do. And I know stats aren't everything, but when he comes on, you can see the whole squad. There's more of a link-up with Eddie than there is Bamford, and much more of a link-up with players like Roberts and Click and Hernandez when he plays, and Costa. They all look better when he's at the focal point. You cannot compare. You can't say Eddie won't do this because we've not seen Eddie play. At least put Eddie in for 3 full games, but he won't. Even his press conference afterwards when he said, well, yes, people were cheering for Eddie, and we all kind of thought to ourselves, all right, here we go. So he's understanding. But then people were cheering for Patrick, and I understand that Bielsa is so loyal, but as Phil Hayes said, it cannot get in the way of the output, because we will still be in this division next year without Bielsa and potentially without a plan. And that's the reality of it. This season for me is be all and end all. The division isn't as good. We're better than every team in this division. I'll get dislikes on this, but we are when we are at peak. But we do not show peak enough. At all. We haven't this season at all, and there have been so many games which have been in the balance where it could have gone either way. Where we could be look at Birmingham at the weekend. It should have been 3-4-0 by the first half. Ended up grinding out a win. Derby letting the goal in. Forest letting the goal in. Brentford could have gone their way. They hit the post. West Brom, when they had the whole second half and we had chances in the first to bury them. Change it around. Let's get a bit of freshness in that side. And there's no better time to do it than against Sheffield Wednesday. Take Patrick Bamford out of that lineup for his sake as well. Because it's not fair on him at the minute. It's not fair on him. And Eddie deserves a chance. Because it's not fair on him either. And this is all about man management. This is where Bielsa earns his money. You cannot let your stubbornness, you cannot let your loyalty get in front of a Leeds United promotion. Because that's what I think it is at the minute. It's all about ethics and morals where you've got to be ruthless. You've got to take this team apart and rebuild it if you need to get us into that promised land. That is what you've got to do. But you don't need to do that. It's just a few little manipulations. And there's no excuse this year. Last year we had injuries upon injuries upon injuries in that sector where we couldn't get it together. Bamford and Roof, we couldn't get that together. Or either or, they were injured and then we didn't know what to do. Sometimes it'd be Harrison in the 9. This time, you've got options. You need to manage them better for me. You need to manage them well. There is no chance Bamford's scoring that Nketiah header. And the 3 to 4 chances Bamford's getting, I'm going to say 3 of them go in if it's Nketiah. And I can say that because you know how deadly he is in that 6-yard box. Or now we know how deadly he is with his head. He's got everything a striker needs. Start Eddie Nketiah. We will have your Sheffield Wednesday preview out tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to do one especially from Hillsborough, hopefully if I can get there. Hope you're all well. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'll see you in a bit.